Hello and welcome back to the worst Warmachine channel on the internet. I'm Malorian, and this is going to be another Warmachine battle report. Now, this one here is going to be a full video. So whereas normally I go and I do the pictures and I voice them over, well, now this is going to be a video that I'm going and I'm voicing over for those who like seeing the move-by-move type plays. And this is being brought to you by the patrons, really. I mean, I had a stretch goal on there saying, hey, if we get to $100 coming in per month, I'm going to be doing a video battle report each month, and we got there. I didn't think we were going to right away. I thought it was going to be taking more like 3+ months and maybe get there. I don't know. But yeah, we just kind of got there right away. So wow, thank you so much. This is great, and hopefully I can make something that's kind of worth your time. Now, in this one here, what we're going to be having is, it's going to be all Brawl Machines. We're doing Brawl Machine. It's going to be nice, good old 25 points, and in this though, we're going to be playing more than one game, so don't worry. If you're watching this, like, oh, this game's over, don't worry. There'll be a second game coming after that. Now, for myself, I'm going to be running Darius. Darius, if you remember, was part of my video of 5 casters that do really well in Brawl Machine, like much better in Brawl Machine than you would expect in, say, 75. And this was backed up by when the Line of Sight tournament finished for their Brawl Machine. Hey, who do you know did really well? Oh yeah, Darius. You know, it turns out when you have, models you can't easily take out because it's only 25 points, having a feat that fixes those things, pretty good. Plus you got the Caine, plus you got, Refuge and all these other great spells. Yeah, it's pretty good. So in my list, I am taking Darius in heavy metal. It comes with the half-jacks for free. And then I have the Centurion. I have the Defender. Look at this one here. It says 16, but that's because it isn't corrected yet to being 14. And then my free choice is going to be Caine 0, who's running a Thunderhead. And the reason for that one is a couple. One, I could be doing Fire for Effect on there. It just blasts the world. It's also cute to put Refuge on Thunderhead so you can go up and zap and pulse things and then move back away. And my opponent, had a very high suspicion was going to bring some very high defense things, so I needed to have something in here as an answer to that, or else I just lose the game, and that's less than fun. And then I also have a min unit of Mechaniks because, hey, we're going to be all about fixing things in this list here, and it's good to have a unit. So yeah, that's going to be my list. Now, my opponent here is going to be Dorian, and he's going to be playing Syvestro. Now, Syvestro is a very fantastic caster in both 75 and Brawl Machine, so should be a little bit difficult, to say the least. And the battle group here is going to be a Suppressor. It's going to be a Vindicator. The free option here is going to be Alyce. And then there's also going to be the Mentalist, Morrowan Archon, and some Crucible Guard Assault Troopers, a whole max unit. Now, the real thing that this list here is trying to do is, first of all, coming in, there's a lot of things that stack up so that it's really hard to deal with those Assault Troopers at range. And if you even do, he can bring them back with Revive, so that's tough. And then once you actually get into combat, he can then switch gears, and between the Mentalist and the Archon, it can really go there and make it so it's really hard to hit those troopers. Meanwhile, he's doing work on you, especially on the feet. It can just be really devastating. So yeah, it's going to be a tricky list to try and deal with for sure. So with that being talked about, let's go and take a look at the game. Alright, so as we get into this here, this is a pretty wide scenario, and so whereas I'd probably like something a little bit more central that I can hold down, I'm going to have to try and set it up here so the Centurion can go down the center, try and lock down whatever zone I need, the other jacks in there for support, and then I'm going to have my Mechaniks here at the bottom to try and score that zone. Now luckily for trying to score flags, I do have the half-jacks, and I mean with these free half-jacks, they can kind of go and contest and do whatever I need. Now as Dorian deploys his, it was very clear that he's going to be going and fighting at the bottom zone here, the left zone for me, I guess. But for him, also, you might be noticing, like, geez, that looks a lot like Lucas. Well, that's because he forgot his Syvestro, and, we thought it was either Gorman or something that's going to be very clearly, the caster. So that's Syvestro for today. All right, so on my first turn here, I'm getting my focus, I'm getting my free focus, and I just want to get out my upkeeps and just rush up the board here. So where I'm putting things is Fortify is going to be going on the Centurion. I also put out like Refuge onto the Defender, Vindicator, thinking it could do some cute things. So that's what I do for those. I actually remember here like, oh yeah, before you charge up, do that crane. So crane up the defender so it can get even further up. Then I'm going to be going and seeing if I can take a shot or something, or being shot back. Yeah, no, he can't shoot me this first turn. That's great. The Centurion running up, my little half jacks running up. And over here on the other side, I'm also kind of wondering if I should be doing here for fire for effect. And I thought, sure, why not? Let's put it up onto my good old Thunderhead here, and then it runs up too. Now, at first here, I kind of thought like the fire for effect Thunderhead could probably go up there and just be blasting all that infantry. But then I kind of remember like, oh yes, Carapace and all that stuff. Yeah, even with fire for effect, it's going to have an extremely hard time trying to break through all that armor and defense once he has that layered on. So I'm starting to realize here as my opponent's going that this will be a very tough nut to crack. First thing he's doing here is going with his assault troops, and they're going to be running up, the Suppressor running up behind, and then this is his favorite thing to do here at the Vindicator, find a home for it, and then just sit there forever. So he tries to take a shot, hoping he'll just scatter onto me. Unfortunately, it doesn't go far enough for him, so might as well try and see what happens. Otherwise, then, he's going to be coming up here with his Mentalist. He's going to be doing the ability, so he gets +2 defense and armor against my range stuff, so pretty good. Then he's going to be coming up here with Syvestro, doing the free cloud so I can't shoot him. There's actually a lot of guns in my list, and normally I can have a lot of range power in there, but it's not going to be threatening assassination here because, yeah, I can't even get him. He's going to be putting Transmutation up onto the Assault Corps, so now their defense is even higher and they're hitting harder and all that scary stuff. Allison moving up, the Morrowan coming in here as well, and that's going to be basically his turn 1. So very clearly, he's going here for the bottom zone. We're going on to my turn 2, and I just want to try and do whatever I can. I need to try and get in there. I need to try and lock some of these things down, and the good news is that I do out-threat him, right? Especially if I am having it mainly up there with the Centurion, with the you can't charge me stuff. I mean, even without that, the Assault Corps can only charge 10. There is that one mode of Syvestro where the jacks can be getting +2 movement, basically. So there is something like a 12-inch threat from the Vindicator I'll have to be watching, but there's a lot here, and if I can maybe get in there and get like the first attack on him before, maybe even before he feats, I can hopefully do some really good stuff. So really what I do here is I upkeep all my spells. I don't really have a big thing to do with it though. The Centurion is going to be polarity fielding and then running up. Later on here, I'm going to realize I didn't put it into the zone, and so I will be nudging it in, but I'm making sure I'm somewhere where, yes, those assault troopers can't just walk up and hit me, and that also the Vindicator can't just walk up and hit me as well. So that's where I'm kind of like positioning to be out of those threats, locking down the zone. I'm going to be coming up here with that one half jack to be scoring my flag. Sure, he could shoot me and kill it, but hey, you know what? Those Vindicators do a lot of damage, and that's what it wants to do. That is totally fine, because I'd rather the damage goes on a free half jack than an important one. Meanwhile, I take a shot at the Vindicator with my good old Defender, get some pretty good damage, so, pinging away, if I can get some good damage on it, whereas I can do a lot of repairs, he cannot. So that's another good thing that's in my favors. I mean, the infantry, he could be bringing up here and reviving them, but not the jack. So any damage I do there is fantastic. Meanwhile, just getting up there with the Thunderhead to be a little bit, scary. Good old Caine staying back and scared. The unit all in the zone, so if he doesn't come in, I'll score that too. And then, yeah, I also have then Darius that's kind of like hiding behind the wall and being ready to fix things, as I'm assuming he's going to have some trouble. Now, I do have Anastasia as well. Anastasia will be coming in here at some point, but I mean, the thing that I find in Brawlmachine is that typically Anastasia can't really like surprise a solo and kill them. You just have a smaller force that's in the center. So at some point, I'm probably going to have her come in just to contest one of these zones as needed. So what he does here is he's going to be, even though he hasn't taken out the tokens yet, because he plans to purify, he didn't upkeep any of his spells, and then his assault troops are just going to be running up. They're difficult enough to deal with, and if they can charge in with those weapon master swings, they can do a lot of work, so it can be very dangerous. Otherwise, he's trying to decide what else he should be doing with his shots there, and what damage he should be trying to do. Coming up here with the Mentalist, wondering again what's the right thing to do here, and deciding to, okay, let's worry about the range stuff, and so doing that same mode, so I'll be -2 the shots for defense and armor. And part of the Mentalist will break off from doing that, which is unfortunate. But of course, it makes sense here. There's repo for both of us. Both of us from our themes have repo in our solos. I also have it on the mechanic, but it makes it really handy for the Mentalist. We can go and do things and then try and repo back to the perfect spot. So of course, repoing back onto the flag, not too bad. Now he's going to do is be coming up here with the Suppressor and doing the rust spray, so he can be lowering the armor of my jacks over here. I believe he actually misses my Centurion. I can't really remember for sure, but it doesn't really matter because not all the damage will be going there. Doing some damage, lighting me on fire after. The fire actually won't matter because of the purification will take it off, but just getting some little tiny damage there with the sprays. But the sprays aren't going to be the big thing for the damage. The big thing is going to be this Vindicator shooting in, and that's going to be the big huge damage. I mean, when you go for the mode where you get an extra dice against jacks and it's already had his armor down as well, yeah, that hurts pretty good. So getting some okay damage in there. Again, in this list, I have lots of ways of repair. Also remember that in my theme, I get +1 to whenever I'm repairing thing. So with even my little half jacks, when they go up, they'll be healing 2 things, like 2 boxes instead of just 1, which doesn't sound like a lot, but if you got a couple of systems out, hey, that one can do all that work for you, or I can feat and get all the way back. Now, as you can see from that damage grid, he shot into the defender and cranked it good. Like, those Vindicators can do insane damage, so that was not great, especially because the Cortex was out, so even though I can fix it, I won't have any focus on there. And another nice thing here with my Darius is just the fact that I actually have Jackhammer. So a lot of times I don't need to allocate because I can just Jackhammer to get those hits. But in this case here, you know, where I want my defender shooting, I would rather it has some focus on it. Otherwise, he's really just coming up here with Syvestro, did the Cloud again, did the Purification. So all my spells are gone. I mean, it's kind of too bad that we have a whole bunch of awesome upkeeps like I do, that it'd be nice to be able to have them out and doing things, but hey, you know, sometimes you can't do that. Alyce now running over here to try and look scary, trying to hunt my Darius. I mean, Darius is a pretty beefy boy, but what I see here now is actually a pretty good chance here to go for a pretty big, like, scenario jump. And the reason for that is because, I mean, like, we each had scored on our flag as we're going to be going on here to the second turn, but now my Anastasia can come in, it can contest, I'll be getting ahead by 1 for sure. I might be able to clear out this left zone if I wanted, but if nothing else, on the, like, the top zone there, I'm pretty sure I can kill the Jack in the model that's in there, and then I can score it with Darius, and then all of a sudden, I'm going up 2 to 3 control points, and in a game where you don't have to be up 4, that can be massive. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this. I'm wondering how aggressive I should be there in the middle. I mean, should my actual Thunderhead actually try and go in and try and kill all those things? But we're going to be starting here on the top zone. The Centurion coming up here, trying to make its hit against the Jack. Hits pretty easily, also making sure I'm out of the range of the Morrowan Archon, also going after the infantry model as well, and got some pretty good damage in there right away, so great. My first attempts here trying to do some things against them working so far. Also put up the polarity field, and again, whereas normally, oh, that's it, I guess I failed, well no, I'm a Jackhammer caster, and I can get this done. Now, another thing I had to figure out here is whether I want to feat, whether I want to try and fix up my defender that way, but I think I can hold my feet. So otherwise, on the bottom there, I'm going to be more defensive. Basically, my Thunderhead is going to just kill that model in the front of me, and you might be thinking to yourself like, well, that's great, Brian. You basically just threw away your Thunderhead. Well, it's not that bad, because Caine 0 actually has the spell where I can pull my model in my battle group back to me, so that's what I'm going to be doing with Caine. Cost 3, so it's pretty pricey, but hey, I just saved my expensive Warjack, so sure, it's totally worth it. Also, I find that my little Mechaniks are in danger, so they have to pull back as well. So I know I'm not going to be scoring this zone. I know that he probably won't score this zone, so the Mechaniks just kind of come back just to be pretty safe. Like I said, Anastasia running up just to go and contest for a turn, and now I need to clean things up there on the right. So what I'm going to be doing here is just jackhammer, jackhammer, jackhammer. And, you know, some dice were pretty hot, some dice were not so hot. But what you're going to be seeing here is that as I slowly work through my stack of focus, I'm going to be taking down the suppressor, and that's going to be fantastic. One jack off the board, and then I just need to kill this one infantry model, leaving myself on one focus, and then after that, I get to go nudge myself into the zone. And so I know I can be shot at by the Vindicator, but hey, I got cover, I have lots of boxes, 22 boxes, armor 18, camping 1, that is pretty safe. Otherwise, just moving my defender to safety. I believe I'm going to be going here and repairing it with the half jack right away. I think I took like a random shot at Alyce because of why not. But yeah, this is awesome. I'm going to be going up now on a point on my flag, a point on the top zone. I am now up 3-1, and I feel like in a very defensive situation where I have done the big attrition to him. I am up on scenario. He can't really charge into me. So although he can get things onto the Centurion, it won't be very effective. So I was feeling fantastic until Alyce turns into a monster and he's like, oh, I can get that on Darius. I was like, can you? Oh, I guess you can go up there and jump, but whatever. That's not the worst deal. And then he goes with a shot with the good old Vindicator, and it's now going to be going for the version where it's going to be going for, you know, -2 armor for living. I think it's Wither or something like that. This is also after he feeded with Syvestro, and so he's easily going to hit me, and he's going to do a ton of damage. I think it was like 7 or 12 damage right away. I mean, oh, let's see it on there. That looks like it's 7 damage. So already a big chunk out of me, and that's with me reducing. Yeah, that was at 12 reduced to 5 with the focus. And then Alyce is going to come into me, and I mean, normally not that crazy, but also transmutation was put onto it. So basically the POW 14 went up to 16, which is really like the 18 with my armor going down. And yeah, after the first one cranking me and the second one going, yeah, that did really good, and he beat me on the first round here. So round 2, we decided to re-rack and do this again because I lost. I decided I want to go first, and now he wanted to swap sides. So looking at what happened last time, I want to try and be extra safe with Darius this turn. And the problem is that the side that I'm on doesn't really allow for that well. You know, I have a wall, but as we've seen, walls aren't exactly the safest thing. So what I'm looking to leverage is going to be more of the forest that I have down here. Maybe trying to use some ways that can hide me. I think that I'm going to be trying just to more so just contest on the left, trying to bring my forces more down the center, and we'll see if that works out for me. Basically, I'm seeing that he has a lot of assassination potential, and that because of that, I can't just be the standoffish that I hoped. And looking at what he's doing here, his deployment is showing that he's like, yeah, I'm just going to go right down the center and let's get you. So I'm pretty happy so far that I've been going first. You know, if he was going first, he could run up and say, what are you going to do? If you come in the zone, I'm just going to smash you. So the fact that in these cases I've been going first, it's a pretty good one. So in this case here, I also did my deployment better so I could actually crane up the Centurion, which, you know, is the slow one. And then I charge up here. I don't put anything else out there. I put up the Fortify. My other spells, I don't feel that they're very worth it. I'm just going to try and camp more. And then if he wants to Purify and take a Fortify, that's okay. Meanwhile, I want to try something else out. You're going to see that I'm going to run up all of my half-jacks to being like kind of like in the front of my army. And the reason why I'm doing that is that I want to actually try making mines this time. You know, mines are pretty cool. They get to do like automatically POW 14. It's blast damage, but it's not range. So that things like the carapace on them, they don't care about that. Talk about not caring about things. They're going into the acid here, and that's going to be making nothing happen to him. He's immune to the corrosion. I'm pretty sure that whenever Dorian sees like acid pools, he purposely goes into them just to kind of laugh and say like, ha 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 ha, I'm immune to that. Otherwise, at first he was trying to be a little bit more aggressive. And then remembering that I had the jackhammer, decided to be a little bit more defensive. So that's why he went up pretty far. And then now he's like, maybe that's not the best thing. So yeah, he kind of played around with that formation a bit. The Morrowan coming right up onto the flag here. The Mentalist is going to be coming up and going and saying, hey, shooting, you're not as good. So, like that. Mentalists are so awesome for whether they want to support you for, the shooting or the combat. They're fantastic. Otherwise, he goes up here with the Vindicator. It's going to be running up and getting into probably where it's going to spend the whole game. Same thing with the Suppressor. And then he's going to be coming up here with his good old Syvestro and puts Transmute up onto the Assault Warriors, the Assault Troopers, and Alyce, basically just trying to find a spot that it could be hunting me from. So with this here, I feel that I have to be very defensive. I can barely get into the zone now and do anything, so I'm really going to need to make sure that my Centurion is going to have to hold down that bottom zone while I try and see what damage I can do. So what I'm going to try and do here is just try and just pick away at him. There is the Morrowan that wants to hold down the flag, but I'm going to try and see if I can actually go and start chipping away at it with the Defender. Meanwhile, I did find that I had a happy spot that, again, my Centurion can live in the zone and it's out of 7, so that since he can't charge me, I'll be all right. And then I'm going to try and just shoot and do some damage to some jacks as well. So the first thing I do is I come over here with the Defender, make sure I'm out of charge range, and then take a shot at that Morrowan. I'm going to hit it. I'm going to roll the damage. I'm, 15 to a 20, but a couple of 6s in there. Yeah, rolling a 13, that's going to be doing what? 8 damage to it already. Yeah, that's pretty decent. I'm pretty happy with that first shot. And now the Morrowan has to be pretty worried about being, killed without doing anything. Otherwise, this is where I'm going to be doing these mines. Every single one of my half-jacks going up and going to turn into a mine. So now if I want in any maintenance phase, I can blow up any one of these or all of them or whatever I want to do. And that's POW 14. So that is absolutely fantastic. Those Assault Corps, they're pretty great, but they don't like taking POW 14s where they don't have any extra armor to that. Otherwise, I'm going to come on here, take a shot to the Suppressor, get a critical, so I'm going to disrupt it, and do some damage, which is nice. Rolled some okay damage in there. Because I hit, then I have the ability to automatically hit it with my second shot, did a little bit of more damage, and hey, why not? That's awesome. Again, I don't need to worry about the fact that I'm in danger because I can just teleport myself away. So Caine 0 is just going to come over here and is going to be teleporting the Thunderhead to me. This is actually a little bit of a dangerous play because what he could do is shoot the Vindicator at the Thunderhead and then just boost the blast damage onto Caine, and Caine doesn't have the best armor. So it's a risk I'm deciding to take because what else am I going to do, right? Otherwise, I'm going to do Polarity Field and then run with the Centurion into the zone just to try and lock that down. Darius is going to be very scared and wondering what to do until I see that I have this little pocket on the right here at the bottom, I guess, with all of the forest and the Centurion, and it's like, oh yeah, I can just run into there and be safe. So right now I'm putting myself on the wall, making sure that I can heal myself, but later on I'm going to realize that that's the real happy spot. That's where I should really be. So otherwise, that's kind of it. My Mechaniks spacing out, getting ready to heal stuff. And then this is where I realized, oh, right, that's the smart spot to be. And Dorian's like, yeah, go ahead. I mean, this is just a friendly brawl machine game. It's not like it's a tournament with no takebacks. I could have easily gone there, no problem. So yeah, Darius is on my flag. Everything looking pretty good. Going on to his side of 2. So for him, his part here, he's trying to decide what he's going to try and do with me. It's a little bit tough when you're disrupted, unless, of course, you have an Alyce that can take that off. So it wasn't the biggest deal. He's going to be coming over here and purifying off my Fortify, hoping that he can try and get a little bit more damage onto my Centurion. With that, then he's going to be in a spot where he's going to be able to go up there with the Suppressor to spray it. So that's what he's going to be doing now is Alyce is going to take away the disruption, giving it a focus, coming up here with the Suppressor so it can spray me and rust me. And I mean, it's pretty easy to hit, do a little bit of damage, no big deal. And then after that, that's going to allow it so that, okay, I don't have Fortify anymore. My armor is a little bit lower because of rust. And now the Vindicator can go at me and hopefully do some okay damage. So hits me pretty easily. Lots of dice for the damage. skadoosh, here it comes. And you can see there's a lot of 6s and 5s in there and stuff. And so you can see the damage here, pretty significant. Now, it's probably not enough that I need defeat. I can probably just go and fix that with like half jacks and things. But hey, you know, it's pretty good for him to get that early damage. Otherwise, he's trying to protect his suppressor from me by putting these models in the front. He does realize it is within the range of the mine possibly blowing them up, but he figures it's worth the risk. Otherwise, he has one of the troopers in the top zone to try and make sure that's contested. You know, making sure that there's enough in there that you can also threaten whatever I have over there as well. And yeah, trying to make sure he actually kind of thought about going into the zone on like this side of the building, saw the mine, and it was like, nope, not going to do that. He also decided that with the Morrowan, like, should I come over here to threaten you? What's going to be the right thing to do with it? In the end, he's going to be bringing it up against the building. Now, it's looking backwards currently, but it's actually looking forwards at me. It's just like with the spear, that's hard to do. So it's trying to be there and threatening my position. The Mentalist is going to go onto the flag. Syvestro is just going to cloud and be basically invincible. And then we're each going to be scoring our own flag. So my turn 3 here, I am going to be bringing on my Anastasia again, just to be going to try and to contest that flag. Sometimes that's the best that a 3-point model can do, and then otherwise I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do, and the first thing is going to be exploding that mine and seeing how it does. So in the maintenance phase, boom, it blows up, and my dice go nice and hot, just enough to explode and kill them both. So that is fantastic. Keep in mind, that's like a free thing, right? I'm going to make another free half jack just right now, and yeah, you know, those mines are sometimes something that you forget with Darius because you really have to plan ahead. But I find that in Brawlmachine, where everything is kind of more focused just on the center, you can get a lot more work from them. So otherwise, what I'm trying to do is I wish I could try and shoot and kill his Morrowan Archon, but I don't think I'll have a good way of doing it. So I really just want to try and find a way that I can just actually pick away at that suppressor. If I can just stay defensive, take off a heavy, and, you know, contest his flag, sure, why not? So as you see there, Anastasia runs in, contests the flag. Another thing to kind of think about here, normally Anastasia can be like 4 inches from the flag, and if you can hit me, you're not on your own flag anymore, but because of how you have repo, you can actually do it. Otherwise, my defender is taking a shot at the suppressor, does some pretty good damage, and so again, my hope of trying to take it out. I'm also trying to find a way of like the order of activation so I can actually get the Thunderhead in there to shoot it again. I'm a little bit, you know, like all backed up with all like the Darius and all those things. So Darius goes first. I'm going to crane the Thunderhead towards me. I'm going to be fixing the Centurion a bit. So D3 plus 3 normally, but it's going to be D3 plus 4 because of the theme. So that's what I'm saying is I have enough here that I can fix it without needing defeat. And again, I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to be putting this Thunderhead. So I go up there with the half jack. It's going to be repairing the Centurion. The Centurion is going to be doing the polarity field. And now I just come up here with the good old Thunderhead. Going for the shot, hit, crit again, and disrupt it. I mean, the disrupt is nice, but again, I just want to kill the thing. My damage rolls, not overly hot for the first one, but the second one, extremely good. And I leave it on 1 box. So it's like, well, that's sad. And at first I was planning on like teleporting back my Caine, but then it's like, oh, I can just shoot him with Caine. So Caine comes over here. I'm going to be using the snipe shot, hit pretty easily, boost the damage, and skadoosh, there's the last one, and I take down a heavy. So this is great now. Again, I'm going to be in a spot where I am up on scenario, I am up on attrition. Darius is super mega safe, so I shouldn't have to worry about anything about that. And now I just need to make sure that basically I don't do anything dumb, which is not what I tend to do somehow. He is going to have ways to get some things onto Thunderhead this turn. Hopefully it won't be enough to kill me. I'm really hoping that I'm setting myself up so that next turn could be my feet turn, that he's going to be feeling at this point pretty pressured that he needs to come into me and do something significant, and then I can kill off a lot of his stuff, and then as well feet and reduce all the damage he's done. So right now Dorian's kind of looking at these things, kind of wondering what's the right thing to do. Can he kill Anastasia pretty easy? The last thing he'd want to do is not kill Anastasia. He revives 2 models, and of course, being Dorian, puts them right in the acid pool because, again, he's kind of bragging like, we're immune to corrosion. We don't care. And this is also going to be his feat turn. So he's going to come in here, and he's going to be hitting my Anastasia. And yeah, with the armor 10, you die pretty easy. So he's able to do that. He's already on the flag. He can repo to wherever he wants as well with that. Next thing he's going to be doing here is trying to figure out how to get into me. So what he's going to be starting with is going with the Suppressor, not the Suppressor, the Vindicator, and he's going to be taking a shot at my Thunderhead. He sees that my Centurion is already kind of damaged, but he wants to go after the Thunderhead there instead. After looking at though, he kind of realized like, oh, wait a second, I could do that, but you have all those things right by that Centurion. Let's do that so we can get some swanky blast damage. So shoots that instead, kills off the half-jack, and I'm now realizing that I'm not really getting half-jacks because they keep dying. Doing some okay damage here to the Centurion, and then I don't believe he gets really anything onto Darius because I can just reduce it with focus. So yeah, I don't have any half-jacks, and not having a lot of half-jacks for my feet makes my feet a lot harder to do. Next thing he's looking here is at the Morrowan. Again, remember that the Morrowan is actually facing me, trying to figure out what it actually wants to go after. It can't actually charge the Centurion because of that polarity field, but it can go after my Thunderhead. But he has crappy dice. Remember, his feat does not apply to the Morrowan because it's not friendly faction. And so with this one, even with the extra dice from being a Morrowan and all that type of stuff, he misses the charge attack. And that is brutal, right? Like, he could have blinded me. He could have gotten some really significant damage in, but instead he did nothing. Now he's going here with the Assault Corps, trying to find a good spot here where he can threaten me next turn. It really does suck for him that he doesn't get to deliver his Assault Troopers on the feet, but he just wants to be in a spot here where he can now just try and like slow me down and try and like eventually start charging in with Assault Troopers. So at the end there, he's going to score his flag. He's going to be contesting my flag, so everything is going to be kind of all tied up. But now here's the big dangerous play. Alyce coming down here on the other side of the forest. Now, when he first did that as a threatening play, I thought that it's going to be very easy to kill that model with the Thunderhead, but we'll talk about how that's not going to be the case in a second. And so now I'm going to go for the mine, and look at that damage. That is ridiculous. I mean, it was already very hurt, but because I'm shooting in the back, basically, you don't get the shield, and so it's off 4, and boom, that just does all the damage I need and kills a Morrowan with a silly half-jack mine. So sure, I'll take that. So with that down, now I'm feeling extremely good for attrition. I now just need to follow that up, right? I'm going to just find a way to contest his flag, score my again, and see what else I can be taking out here. I mean, if I did nothing else this turn but take out the Morrowan, it'd probably been worth it, and now I have all this other stuff I could be going for as well. So I'm allocating my focus. Again, one of my plans here is that I want to be in a spot where I can basically be killing Alyce. So I'm trying to figure out how I can do that, how I can get the Thunderhead over and then like into the forest so I can be within 6 inches and zapping Alyce. So I'm like, okay, I can come over there with Darius, I can crane you, then you can walk in. But it's also very awkward because with like the half-jack I'm going to place and then also the flag in the way, it gets really difficult. So, I mean, I go Darius, I'm going to crane the Thunderhead the best I can. Again, fixing up the Centurion. I don't feel I need to defeat this turn. The little half-jack needs to get out of the way. It's going to be coming over here and fixing some damage. And then I'm going to be going here with Thunderhead, and I go here into the forest the best I can. I don't measure overly easily because that's to get within 6 inches. And that's when Dorian's like, remember, there's also the 3 inches of forest, and if you can't see me, you can't target me. So now we realize like, oh, we actually have to measure this a lot better. Luckily, because I had put the half-jack onto it, we knew exactly where it was. And as we start measuring this out, we see like, yeah, there is no way I can actually get close enough so that there is less than 3 inches between me and the edge of the forest, so I can't see Alyce the Zapper. So this is awful because I just died to Darius last game, and there's Darius standing on the other side ready to be killed by Alyce. I'm camping 4 this time, and he's already been past his feet, but yeah, this is not good. So while I try and think about that, I try and deal with the top first. I know I'm going to be getting myself into danger zone, moving on to this side with the defender, but I don't want to be taking free strikes, and I'm just swinging my hammer and just killing these guys. Again, just trying to push the attrition down as much as I can. Meanwhile, now I can go up there with the unit and I can run up one of the troopers to contest, and then the rest can be there to score the zone. Now, currently they're out of command, but I will be fixing that. The leader I'll be pushing up later. Again, this is a friendly Brawl Machine game. It's no big deal. And otherwise, my Thunderhead is like, well, I can't zap the Alyce, but I can shoot at these assault troopers. And you got Carapace, but hey, what else am I going to do? Just nothing? So the Thunderhead comes back over here after being craned, shoots and hits the assault trooper, boosts the damage, and boom, kills the assault trooper. So, okay, that's fantastic. I got another shot. I might as well try and shoot the other one. So I roll the dice, I hit it, and kill it because I have hot dice again. So this is just ridiculous. My dice are on fire. I'm killing everything. I'm on a very high like scenario advantage and attrition advantage. Basically, Caine runs away just so it doesn't die. I score all those points. I pass it over. And now Dorian is basically in like desperation mode. He has to find a way to try and kill Darius. Otherwise, this just isn't going to really happen. So as he looks to try and figure out the way to do this, he's going to be looking at what he can get into. Does he want to try and charge and get into my defender? Does he want to get into the Thunderhead? You also just saw there where we corrected it for the unit coherency for the Mechaniks at the top. And yeah, I mean, he can bring back with Revive, but remember for him, whereas when I bring back my half-jacks, they can activate right away. Well, these little ones he's bringing back again with Syvestro, they have to forfeit their movement or combat action. So anyway, the Mentalist is going to go. It's going to be going after my one contesting model. Again, this is normally where you can be keeping them off the flag, but he can kill me and then repo back onto the flag. It's actually not the worst thing because then he can't like contest the zone. So now he's trying to find a way that his assault troopers can run over here and do it. And he can, but that means that I am now just like dominating the bottom part of the board. And I'm perfectly fine with that. Like now I'm in a spot where I can just like go after the Vindicator and it's easy. So he decides he wants to try and go after the Thunderhead. I'm going to be shield guarding this onto the Centurion. And then that's when he realizes like, oh, okay, that means that's not going to really get done what he needs. He was kind of hoping he could actually maybe do some work and actually get in there and like maybe do something with Syvestro and do like a Stygian Abyss and try and get something there. But now he's seeing he's kind of out of options. He's like, Alyce can get in there, but without the feet and camping 4. The odds of it are really low, but like hell, like what are you going to do about it, right? So after thinking about it, he's like, well, I just might as well try and contest, right? I don't think it's going to really work. I'm just going to stay out of your range, maybe hope for something later, and I'll just try and get in to you after. So, okay, I'm just going to stay here, and I'm just going to wait. I mean, something to think about that too is that if you don't transform Alyce, she basically still has like the dismount, right? So she comes in here and throws some acid, but with that, I mean, if she was a transform, I just have to kill her once. Now that she's in this form, I'd have to kill her once. She'd turn into like the big angry Alyce, and then I'd have to do it again. So this makes it a lot harder for me to stop this contesting model. So yeah, that's pretty much it. There's not much else he can really do. He's going to be killing off that. I think he kills off the half-jack again. It's like, oh, my poor half-jack's always kind of dying. But yeah, in this case here, you know, he's going to be scoring a point, but I'm already kind of up on a scenario here. I'm going to be going and bring back another one of my half-jacks. And really, again, all I'm planning to do here is just keep up this attrition. Kill off the Alyce that's on my flag, kill off the one that's in the zone there, and just keep on scoring and just keep on getting further and further ahead. Whereas, like, that Centurion can just sit there and do nothing else. And, I mean, like, for the Vindicator now, I can be starting to shoot at it and just starting to try and move it down. I mean, if I had Caine closer, I could try and get a little bit janky, and maybe Caine could go up and try and shoot and push the Vindicator out of the zone so I could score it. But yeah, in this case here, it's just might as well play these things a lot safer. So as I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this turn, again, the way that I'm going to lose this game is by doing something dumb. So I'm trying to make sure that's not going to happen. I just going to make sure that I really have to kill Alyce, and I really got to try and keep myself safe. So looking at here, not putting out any spells, not upkeeping anything, because again, once he kind of purified things off, I didn't really bother doing it anymore. It probably would make sense to force him to purify, but I also want to be having more on me just to make sure I don't die, right? That's pretty important. So I'm going to be coming over here so I can be scoring this flag and repairing. This is going to be my feat turn, so I'm going to feat and fix up all my jacks. So that works out pretty well. And you know, I am going to be a little bit out there with things, but I mean, now the Thunderhead's going to be coming up. It's going to be taking shots there against the Vindicator. Maybe, you know, I'm not going to cripple anything or anything fun like that, but, you know, I can do some pretty good stuff. I'm actually coming up to the spot here where I can actually pulse, hit it automatically, and then just, like, boosting it to get some extra damage, because if I can even, like, cripple a system at this point, it is fantastic. I'm also at a spot where I can be pulsing and hitting Alyce as well, so, I mean, if I can just go and, you know, basically dismount her, making her a lot angry, it just makes it a lot easier for the Centurion to finish it off. So that's what I do. Get some okay damage against the Jack, and then it's going to be really up to the Centurion to kind of finish these things off. So Centurion walking into the forest here, making its attack, hit. I think I boost damage and then just kill it. Just get out of here. But it's going to tough. I'll buy one more attack, and then, okay, that's gone. So I'm scoring my flag. I now have to go up there to make sure that I can deal with him. If I can kill this model in the zone with my defender, well, then that means I can score this zone as well. So I go to shoot it. I hit, but I need to do some damage, and it turned out that, I don't hit because of that whole, I have the +2 defense. That just wasn't enough. You know, you'd think that a roll like that, like rolling that high would do it, but it just didn't. So, okay, we're just going to contest instead, throw things in your face, and then try and wait and see. And this is a spot where I was like, oh, now I definitely have the danger of him going after my Darius, right? If he can try and get some serious things onto me, this is going to be that last chance for him to kill me. Otherwise, I'm up on scenario, and next turn, I can probably close it out. So looking at that, you know, this is where he's like, okay, maybe last turn he thought about some of the neat things he could be trying to go and getting desperate with Syvestro. Now it has to happen. So he's looking at trying to get in there with Syvestro and trying to do something to me. The odds are not good, but he might as well try. And the biggest part of this, again, is that he needs to shoot me with his Vindicator, doing that damage to me. I mean, not just the damage, but also lowering my armor. Kind of like just like last time, except for this time, I am within that range of the Centurion. So when he does hit me, I'm like, okay, shield guard. It's like, oh. And now at that point, like the whole assassination is really going to be off the table because he doesn't have the damage from that shot. My armor's not lower. I'm still camping all these things. And it's like, oh, okay, I guess that's just not going to happen then. So sure, he kills a half-jack again. Dorian is the half-jack killer this game, apparently. And then it's like, well, what else am I going to do? I might as well try and do a little bit more work here on the top. So the Mentalist is going to go in there and kill the unit leader there, and boop, goes away. I gotta make a new one. Then he's gonna come over here and try and do some damage with these assault troopers. A lot of them just having to run because they're on the wrong side of the building. The main one that was attacking me missed, and he's like, yeah, that's it. I mean, what else am I gonna do here, right? On my turn, I'm definitely gonna take out the Suppressor, if not just Syvestro. I'm gonna be maybe just winning on scenario if I want, right? He wasn't able to clear his flag. I'm scoring another one, so we're just gonna call it there. So that was the game. I will say that we also did a round 3 because like, hey, we might as well do a best of 3. And in that one, because he had lost, he got the option to go first, ran up, and I basically had no way to stop him. And he just killed my caster. So I thought we'd just keep this one at short and sweet. You know, I don't want these to be overly long. So we'll just kind of keep it to this one here. But yeah, do know that he did get his revenge and that in the best of 3, he comes out here with that game 3 assassination quickly on turn 2 because yeah, when they get the run up first turn, they can bring all those tools to bear. Otherwise, this was a really fun game to play, right? It was something where Darius had a lot of tools, Obviously, Syvestro had a lot of tools. I'm really happy we played the multiple games, because if we just did the first one, we're like, oh, I did Polarity Field, and then you kill me. That wouldn't be all that interesting. But that second game where I got to use the mines to full effect and all the other things, like teleporting back my Thunderhead and disrupting you and doing all these cool things. Maybe I just liked that game because I won it, but honestly, we kind of got to do all the things we wanted to do. For him, he's reviving his guys, killing things, repoing back onto the flag, and it was just a great time. So thank you, Dorian, for having this game. Again, we're going to be trying to do these once every month, and I think what we're going to do too, because you're going to be seeing my battle reports for the picture stuff, we're going to be then doing instead having it other people that aren't me. So I'm looking forward to arranging these. Hopefully you guys are looking forward to seeing these. And something that I want to say is that this is really here because of my patrons on Patreon. So, I have 2 content overlords currently. I have Boyd Christie, I have Darrell Duncan, I got a handful of content manipulators. So I got Adrian, I got Dorian, I got Jordan Murphy, I got Sloth Monarchy. And so for all of you, thank you so much for your contribution to this. It's really from you that things like this are possible. Otherwise, if you're interested in joining in the Patreon and having a say in what content is coming out, supporting me so I can get better cameras and making these things even better for you, maybe check it out down below. And if nothing else, if you just decide to watch the videos, hey, that's awesome. You're great. I love to have you here. So there you go. That's our battle report. Thank you for watching. If you have any other comments on the game, this new format, any of that type of stuff, please post it down below. And otherwise, we'll catch you later. Bye.